cooking up a batch of that alley work. Strays ricochet, rival blocks and back. Most of that's lies, and your set's good and proud of that. My rap sheet longer than that chain in the time you got. And the word on the streets is use a copy rap. Poppy verified the transcript, Roger, copy that. My main dog's Bangor, evil barking cats. Word sharper than a double-edged sharpen that stalking cats. Audible screen, quarterbacks copping crack. Ricing in they mail, Obama got him Barack in black. Corporate camera catch, Beantown, marathon. If Lord has a tailor, I'm a haberdasher, put me on. Cotton gin and juice, you snooping on a bigger dog. Woofing with a pack of Boston Terriers who bitter on. Stranger danger, lion can't tame the anger. Ranger vets tried to poke me in the womb with a mangled hanger. Came from the bottom.
Same river. Yeah. What? Say a prayer for the niggas in the churches. Listen to the pastor giving out the service. Hear the message, but it really isn't working. Now they gon' die at Front Street working. Say a prayer for the holes on their back. Take pipe in the crack to put clothes in their bag. Say a prayer for a weak nigga. Be for 7 days, won't make it through the week, nigga. Say a prayer for the strong type who die with honor but would never live a long life. Now somebody must pray for their moms and the ones they love dearly and hold in their arms. Cause it's a real cruel world, nigga. Forever spinning but you never feel it twirl, nigga. Forever sinning, if they want it, I'ma pearl, niggas. By the harbor, I'ma bomb it, that's your girl, nigga. Never show mercy, neither does God. They say he does, but we made in his image. Caught up in the game, ain't taking no chances. Ain't trying to get my brain blown out in the scrimmage. You down to get your hand chopped off for the spinach or the whip Swiss cheese for a motherfucking image. You don't want rap beef, nigga, ain't music. Nigga, don't tell me, motherfucker, I do it. These niggas ain't real, niggas ain't true. These niggas ain't me, these niggas ain't true. Motherfuckers head back, no cross. Put their names on the list, get them all crossed off. Niggas ain't real, niggas ain't true. These niggas ain't me, these niggas ain't true. Motherfuckers head back, no cross. Put their names on the list, get them all crossed off. Get them crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off. Say a prayer for the teachers who give their own life up to try to teach us. We so damaged that they probably wouldn't reach us. We keeping hammers by the lockers and the bleachers. Say a prayer for a love life, cause if you have it, then it probably mean you love life. If you a savage, then you probably wouldn't love right. But even gangsta need a hug, tell her hold tight. Say a prayer for the children, cause any father fiend out by the building. Well, they didn't see, you know he's someone living, but ain't the type your mother should've had kids with. Yeah, say a prayer for yourself, boy, cause ain't nobody help you get it but yourself, boy. You sit on anything to make it to the shelf, boy. Just go and get it, you don't need a nigga help, boy. Yeah, 2 prayers for the convicts in society who made them feel unwanted. And all the life is through their life inside the garbage, except the rapey niggas leaving women tarnished. More prayers for the innocent behind a G-wall, praying for deliverance. Their optimism been diminished, but the system is built to crush us, re-enslave us to the cotton gin. I ain't got time, I just got minutes and seconds. The death of my peers turn my days into years. I don't have dreams, I'm just haunted by visions. My mother by casket and face full of tears like, please don't cry, mama. I keep the chopper with me, I ain't gon' die, mama. I really promise we gon' make it out alive, mama. To stay alive sometimes you gotta ride, mama. For every broken heart and every broken dream we are getting closer to it, but we miles away and we far. These niggas ain't like it's a savior receipt for the dreams that you buy. They say anything for you. These niggas don't lie. These niggas ain't real, niggas ain't true. These niggas ain't me, these niggas ain't true. Motherfuckers head back, no cross. Put their names on the list, get them all crossed off. Niggas ain't real, niggas ain't true. These niggas ain't me, these niggas ain't true. Motherfuckers head back, no cross. Put their names on the list, get them all crossed off. Get them crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off, off, get them crossed off. Y'all niggas getting crossed off, get them all crossed off.
Good, good. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Chop Shop. You know what I'm saying? We back on another nice Thursday. A beautiful Thursday.
Beautiful.
If you like freezing your ass off.
Amazing Thursday edition.
We're all moving. And everyone has if anyone has a place for us to go that's warm. We're all
not just warm in your house.
Hey there, Mr.
Warm outside
Jones.
too.
Yeah, warm outside.
I got heat.
I got heat.
Bitches.
You can come on.
I got heat.
I want a bathtub. I want heat.
I'm your host, Cash. As you guys know, if you watched the show before, I'm on. I have Nabi Reality on my right.
What's going on, Megabeth?
And
My right.
Megabeth on my far right.
Megabeth.
She's far left, but she's on my far right.
So let's do it just for the people that are tuning in for the first time.
Tune in.
You might be tuning in for the first time. We are Chop Shop Radio. We are a visual podcast,
God,
right? That is brought to you by the Universal Collective and the Woo Worldwide DJ Coalition. Also, shout out to our sponsors, the Mobile Stew, 13 Folds Magazine, and Tech 9 Snowboards. Just wanted to give a quick
Wu-Tang
shout
Rolling
out.
Papers, you know what I'm saying?
And Wu-Tang Rolling Papers.
Call me up if you need those.
Wu-Tang Rolling
So
Papers.
we're going to go right into it, right? We're going to start with the first thing we wanted to talk about. We were talking about a little bit.
Hey, someone's calling in. Who's calling us?
Yeah, Sean. This guy behind
Sean
us.
calling? Sean
Yeah,
chatting?
Thanks, Sean, for interrupting
We're
the show.
calling each other. What's that about?
Is Sean
Sean
declining?
wants the video chat.
Sean, do you want a video chat? We haven't even came up with the topic.
All right, so yeah,
All
let's
right, go ahead.
how about this? Why don't you start and go into it, and I'm gonna pull up the article about Ti because
go
I wanted to if that's gonna add
Well,
to what you started, and then
So
I'll
we're
going
going to talk about the Michael Jackson thing, all right? A little bit different from the R. Kelly situation.
little sensitive for some people.
Because obviously R. Kelly is
Not an
alive.
icon.
He is an icon.
Not really.
Also,
Well, I don't know.
Compared to Michael
we all know that R. Kelly's guilty.
But you know Michael Jackson wrote some, R. Kelly wrote some Michael Jackson songs.
We also all know that R. Kelly is guilty, whereas in Michael Jackson, that's up in the air for some of us. Not everybody.
And not
is-
only that, he's still alive.
Yes.
All right, he's still alive
He's
to
still
defend
alive,
himself.
but You're not a legend until you're dead.
Not true.
I can't necessarily agree to that because I've met some legends that are still alive.
In your book,
Hopefully
or
they wasn't
like
dead when you
what
met
people
them.
consider.
Well, I would say myself, but then I'm gonna wish. You know what? I know where this is going. All right.
Go ahead.
I know where this is going, guys.
So-
I'm not falling.
So, you know, the accusers of Michael Jackson, well, let's first start with, this is a show hosted by Oprah,
What show are we talking about?
the Michael Jackson Leaving Neverland
I never
shit.
saw it, so I didn't know.
I haven't seen it either, to tell you the
So
truth.
none of us have seen it.
No, but
No, but we know the back. We really want to discuss
So-
the backlash of it and everything.
so what we're talking about here are people who went to court for Michael Jackson when he was alive, going through his case. They went to court on his behalf, testifying against another kid who was accusing Michael Jackson of molestation or whatever, and he was found guilty. These are the same people who tried to write a book, and the book failed. They came back and was questioned by the FBI and found out to be not credible. A long list of shit that goes along with these.
So basically, what you're saying is that you feel personally that there's a lot of holes in the accusations against Michael.
Not even a lot of holes in the story. Like, these people are not credible people. Period.
What the people
This
that
has been proven.
majority of the people?
No, it's
Macaulay
just two of
Culkin said it
them.
never happened.
It
right?
never happened. Macaulay Culkin never happened. Corey, was it Feldman?
Feldman.
Never happened. You know, a bunch of other celebrity kids who was around them at the time. Never happened. And then there's that. Remember that video I showed you of the guy? What's his name? Newton. His last name is Newton. I forget his first name.
I'm looking it up right now.
But he was
exactly who I'm looking up.
Executive. He was an executive in the music business. He was close to the Jacksons.
I'm looking it up right now.
Thank you. His kids were
Ron Newt.
Ron Newt.
Ron Newt.
Ron Newt was he was close to the Jacksons at the time.
200,000.
Yeah. They offered him They offered him $200,000 to lie on Michael Jackson and say that Michael Jackson molested Ron's kids, and he said no. And then they tried to use a picture that Ron took
Of his kids, yeah.
Michael Jackson and his
Unbelievable.
son just getting out of the pool, and his son had like on like Speedo or something like they tried to take that that picture and use it to incriminate Michael Jackson.
So before you move on, hold on. Let me give a little context to that. So for people that Cash explained it, but I just want to expand on it a little bit. So Ron Newt was a very close friend of Michael. He has what did he have? Like Michael Jackson's jacket from like tours, and he had the glove on. He was very close to the family, and he basically said that a newspaper person contacted him, and they had him come in, and they said, we got this check here for you for $200,000. We want you to just go ahead and say that Michael touched the kids. He goes, Michael never touched my kids. They go, yeah, but we just need you to say that or say something like that, and we got this check for you for $200,000. So it proves that there were people that were actively trying to. I mean, $200,000. I mean, you think about this: $200,000 to say
a regular person. Ron Newt, at the time, he was a gangster. He was a drug dealer.
He wasn't broke, but $200,000 is a lot of money.
He was a millionaire. Ron Newt was a millionaire. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how he got close to the Jacksons anyway.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. He said, no, I don't need the money.
He didn't turn it down because he had money. He turned it down because he's a loyal fucking friend and a real friend. That's like somebody coming to me and saying, here's $200,000 to say that Cash did this crime or did this. I'm like, fuck no. I mean, I could use the money, but I'm not going to. Some people, it's nice to see that some people still have loyalty, because a lot of people, especially if you got money, they're like, fuck it. They'll sell you out down the river. Yeah. And a lot of people did sell out on Mike. So
if you think about that, and you think about those other kids who was on Michael's side, of course, you know they had to get offered money too. You know what I'm saying? They were still on Michael Jackson's side. So now 10 years after Michael Jackson's death, these people are coming out and they're talking on this show about stuff that Michael Jackson did to them and stuff like that, and everybody's just jumping to their own conclusion and their own, what's the word I'm looking for, like
their own
not evaluation, but like they come to their own conclusions.
To some people, it's case closed. And you know what it is.
Because it's stupid. No, I'm sorry. It's stupid because they're like, now that I listen to what they're saying, and they all have the same story. You know how long it's been going on? It's been going on for like fucking 15 years. Of course, they had the same fucking story. Yeah. Michael Jackson's been investigated by the FBI for 10 years. The FBI.
No tangible evidence could ever been pulled.
FBI.
The thing is, once you get a charge like that, even reasonable people will start to listen to bullshit. Yeah. So because we all agree that
it's a witch.
I don't give a fuck. Listen, even the worst of criminals that kill people, we all agree that touching kids is bad. Like that's a universal thing. The only people that don't think that's bad are other people that touch kids. Everybody else, including drug dealers, killers, mafia members, hitmen, we all agree that touching kids is bad. But the minute you put that label on somebody, whether it's true or not, it follows them for the rest of their life and into the fucking grave.
Right. Yeah, so now they're taking this music off of the radio.
That's what it was. Was it radio or was it streaming services as well?
It was radio so far.
Oh yeah, like 3
streaming services will follow.
Streaming service probably will follow. They're taking his statues down.
Is that why people have been really like critical of Oprah lately on social media?
Yeah, because Oprah's on some bullshit. Like all the people you can go after.
Oprah's one of those Jay-Z people. Like you're supposed to be untouchable. Like you can't say nothing bad about.
Yeah.
Or you're a hate. Like you're not a good person if you say anything bad about Jay-Z or Oprah. Those are like those untouchables. But fuck that. Yeah, nobody's untouchable. Nobody's untouchable in our society.
No, you want balls and you touch someone who's alive and like.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, interestingly enough, people like Michael and other people that have had these scandals, some of these people that have had especially people of color that have had these scandals, if you look at like what was going on in their life right around the time, like the power moves they were making, it coincides with all of a sudden these charges come out of nowhere.
So then now you look, and then like what he's saying about the T.I. thing, which you're going to read, which I was saying before T.I. said it, is just an attack on the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You tear somebody's legacy down.
We're going to turn around and say that Justin Timberlake's the king of pop?
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, now, R. Kelly's the king of R&B, period. No, hands down, period. The king of R&B. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, period. You erase both of those.
There's no arguing, yeah.
Who's
next?
You erase, not even who's next. You erase both of those catalogs out of musical history.
No, you might as well erase every friggin' male artist there ever was, because they slept with.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Some of the female artists too.
Let me ask you a question though.
I see the video.
As far as I know,
I see the video of a 19-year-old Demi Moore kissing on her fucking 13-year-old co-host just like the other day.
Let me ask you a question.
acted like hugged up with him. She was kind of drunk, and they was recording that. She was kissing up, tongue kissing the dude like, I love him, and it's like nah, that's all cool, it's all good, you know what I mean? But
let me ask you this question: if it was proven without a doubt to you that Michael was guilty, how would you feel about? Would you say that it's still his music shouldn't be removed, or would you be?
Yeah, his music should be removed. Fuck it.
If he was guilty.
If he was guilty, yeah.
So therefore, you're a firm believer that he's not.
Yeah, I am. I'm a firm believer.
I agree with you. I'm just curious.
I would say I'm a firm believer that he's not, but we have to go with everybody else in this country or whatever. You
gotta go by the evidence.
By the evidence. Oh, if he didn't do it, except for OJ and Michael Jackson, right? Anybody else get off not guilty? Fucking where's Casey Anthony at? That bitch gets to live her life. Everybody, she was found not guilty. Let her go live her life.
Was that the one that killed the kids?
Killed her own kid. You know what I'm saying?
She said a black man did it, right?
She don't blame nobody.
That wasn't the one that said a black man did it?
No, she didn't say a black man did it. No, she said like
there was a girl who drove her kids into the water though and said a black dude stole a car and
that's
shit.
That's common as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Blame
But
the black man.
But it's like you take Michael Jackson's legacy, you take down his catalog, you take down R. Kelly. That's a huge fucking.
So who would want to do that?
That's a huge piece of black music history.
So who would want to do that though? You think?
People that likes to rewrite history and take shit away from us. You know what I'm saying?
No offense, Beth, but that's usually people
I don't think Beth would do it. So
European descent. Not saying all Europeans, but Europeans are known.
I'm sorry, but
for rewriting history.
Sits over in France, so I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, France is a firm lover of the black community.
I'm not saying all white people, but I'm just saying historically, white people have been known.
Europeans getting rid of any artwork that a guy was known as a pedophile, white, black.
What's that other guy? What's the other dude's name there? The film director there, the movie.
Weinstein.
No, older one, and he had like for touching little girls like 13 or whatever, and then he went over. He's been living in exile over in France or something. Not Woody. The other one.
He married his
The other one there. Yokozuna Ona or whatever the fuck her name is.
No, she was Asian, but
what is his name? He's a. I'll look it up. I don't want to. Go ahead. Just go back to what you were saying, Cash.
Yeah, so I mean, they just tearing down a legacy and to rewrite history. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, like I said, 10 years from now, Justin Timberlake will be the king of pop and R&B.
That's what I'm saying. And I like Justin Timberlake, but he's not. Like it's what I'm saying is it serves a certain agenda.
If you erase Michael Jackson's catalog to where you can't find the music anywhere, right?
Yes.
He's gonna become this like crazy mythological fucking person. He started out, he was entertaining people since he was 4 years old. He started out black, then he turned to white, and then he molested kids.
Pretty much every show in the 70s, every sitcom in the 70s, because the Jackson 5 were pretty much on every single show. So you're gonna have to start cutting pretty much every show.
How? But where do we find these shows at?
What do you
YouTube.
mean?
We find them on YouTube. Exactly. And guess what? YouTube get them out like that. It's not for YouTube to get rid of
some of them are syndicated though.
On where? Where we gonna find them besides?
I'm just saying. Where
you gonna go find an old video of Michael Jackson dancing anywhere?
Not videos. She's talking about the music and the TV shows.
Carol Burnett show.
Some of them shows are syndicated.
Where you gonna find a video of Carol Burnett show?
On YouTube.
Exactly. When YouTube take it down, what's gonna happen?
No, I'm saying not just YouTube though.
It's not that hard.
Like Archie Bunker and all those shows, and the Jeffersons are syndicated shows.
The Jeffersons, he was on. I think he was on Good Times.
Yeah, those are all syndicated shows. They're on like the Mean TV.
Where do you see those shows at?
No, but the point I'm saying is that
Bill Cosby. They took Bill Cosby's show down. You can't see Bill Cosby's show on TV no more. You go on YouTube.
A lot of people use YouTube as a medium. What's that about?
YouTube
Vivo?
is basically
this
only.
isn't about race. This is about communism.
No.
This is about people accepting communism and
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You know why?
Because I can't agree with that.
No, it's not. You know why?
I think there's a racial agenda to this all.
Because listen, who's the king of rock and roll? Elvis is really the king of rock and roll.
Elvis couldn't even play the guitar, bro.
Who's the fucking king of blues? Fucking Eric Clapton. Is Eric Clapton really the fucking king of blues? No.
No, B.B. King is the real king of blues.
King is considered.
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
Well,
Exactly.
Depends on who you ask.
And where you're at.
And which kind of blues? I mean, there's Texas.
Yeah, and where?
Now you want to get technical.
There's New York blues.
Now you want to get technical.
There's New Orleans
but you see my point. And then when they take away hip hop. See now, hip hop is another R&B. Look at R&B. Like there's kind of like I can't say that now because it's kind of been like a little bit of influx of black R&B artists again.
When they start taking away, Motown and finding stuff from Motown, and they try to erase all that. That's when you start to go, all right, there's something up with this because that's all what's his name? The
Barry Gordy.
Barry Gordy.
But who are you gonna go after? There's so many components to Motown. You know what I'm saying? It's not like just one individual. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll go after Smokey Robinson. You're gonna go after fucking Marvin Gaye. I mean,
you're
like,
go after the Supremes. You're like, you can't.
I mean, they're kind of like untouchable because they're like in their own little, you know, their own little cocoon. And people don't look at them as individual success. They talk about Motown.
Yeah.
We say Motown, so Motown's like a big, you know, kind of conglomerate, or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
that's one guy like was responsible for all that. So if
Motown,
you went after that guy,
but you're not gonna say, oh, Barry Gordy was this and this and that, so we're gonna just take down the whole the Motown catalog because of the.
But how do you know they wouldn't? Like that's what I mean.
I mean, they could, and just like they did, like what warrants them to take down Michael Jackson's catalog? What really gives them the right to be?
Yeah, exactly. They don't
nothing.
have the right. They don't have the right to do that. Because there's nothing there. There's nothing there, and there's no real. One person can't defend himself. One and two, there's no evidence.
And that's why they're doing it, Beth. They're doing it to tear down the legacy.
That's what Marxism is. It's like, oh, by the way, we think this is happening, so we're gonna go and throw this away.
See, but you're okay. But here's what I'm saying. If what you're saying is true, right? As opposed to what we're saying, it's more of a racial thing than a communist thing, then why is it specifically targeting a certain race of people? Because it is right now.
I think that you're going to find that they're going to be targeting a lot of people. And it's
when they go after Eric Clapton, we can talk about communism.
Well, not even Eric Clapton. Go after fucking Steven Tyler. This dude got a 14-year-old girl pregnant, forced her to have an abortion.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know about that. That's
so
crazy. I believe it.
That's what I mean.
No, it's a fact. He
wrote it in a
book. She wrote it, and he just opened a home for abused teenage women, teenage girls.
That's crazy.
And nobody says nothing. So
that's crazy.
It's bullshit. Like this is like a true, 100% true story that he got a 14. Her parents signed him over to her.
How do you fucking sign your kid? Man, how do you do that?
He got her pregnant. When he found out he got her pregnant, he got mad. He forced her to have an abortion, and never talked to her again.
And then he does. You said something about a home now. You said
and he just recently, like last week, a couple weeks ago, started a home, like some kind of like organization for sexually abused teen girls.
That's fucking crazy, right there.
And
that's penance. That's not penance. What is it? What is
that's
trying to
penance, redemption.
Redemption.
Well, so-called redemption. I don't know about all that, but
that's bullshit. So, you know,
that's an act of redemption. I didn't say it was. I'm saying.
And nobody said nothing.
Like, well, I didn't even hear about that. But then again, Michael Jackson is an icon.
Yeah, but Steven Tyler is an icon as well.
That is a fucking icon. He's not. You know, Michael Jackson's on the top by himself. All right. Michael Jackson stands alone. You can't compare nobody to Michael Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's bigger. Like,
but it doesn't matter. He's not bigger. I mean, he's bigger, but he's still a fucking world icon.
This is just the beginning, and that's all.
I don't know. See, that's where we differentiate. You think it's just the beginning. No. We feel like this is a pattern that's been going on for a while.
Let's start right here. Mike Tyson, Tupac, Bill Cosby,
Mystical, but he was guilty.
Kobe Bryant,
he was guilty. Mystical was dirty.
Fuck, there's more. I mean, I can go on and on. Those ones I can just think off the top of my head are like black icons that have been accused of rape.
Morgan Freeman was too.
They try to say. I think it's more like a rumor. They try to say
that was a rumor.
It was a rumor, but it wasn't true. They try to say he married his his stepdaughter or something like that. Right. But I don't think that was true. It was just like a rumor. Freeman, huh? Oh man,
Did you see that? I got a picture to show you. Keep talking.
Some people are obviously.
I'll show you something real quick.
You know, there's a lot of like sexual crimes going on. You know what I'm saying? Go to the ACI and see.
Yes.
There's a lot of sexual crimes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with Bill. Well, then you go look at. Well, there's a lot of actors that have freaking.
Look at this one.
Yeah, and which ones get the most attention?
Take a look at that.
Well, the bigger ones.
Harvey Weinstein, Bob.
Well, read the meme first before you read what it says.
So we're gonna go after Cosby, R. Kelly, Michael, and just skip past all these sex predators.
And look how many's on there.
David Blaine. What David Blaine do?
Name a few. He made a girl disappear.
Name what you're reading.
He took her pussy home. I took her pussy and took it home.
He made it disappear.
Gave it back sore. He took my pussy again.
Made somebody's virginity disappear.
That
was just something somebody put up.
David Blaine was around. He came back again. He But peered back in my body, he was also.
I gotta see all the names backwards.
Slurring out of.
I said, oh goddamn.
Let me
Dustin Hoffman.
Let me go up to the camera real quick and show.
Bro.
Yeah, show them up there.
Dustin Hoffman, yeah.
We need to pull up how many.
And he said something really stupid, didn't he? Like.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, didn't he?
Did he say something? He said something off, right? Like,
yeah, and so did
Why the fuck am I picking on?
They all who else was like Kevin Spacey. He's a
little.
Kevin Spacey was touching.
He did a little.
Young,
he's a lunatic.
He did a little soliloquy as one of his
great
characters.
actor.
Oh yeah, like I'm sorry,
like
I was in character, you know.
Kevin Spacey is what I call a fruit. I mean, a little fruit. Yeah, great. Really like a little fruit.
So let me go into that
Dustin
T.I.
Hoffman
thing.
was like, I don't know.
Let me
There
find
was
that
something
T.I. thing.
weird about the way he said. It's like,
T.I.'s been really outspoken politically, huh?
Who?
T.I. has been last couple of years been really
So I was
outspoken.
I was reading this article about this plus size model that's suing T.I. No, not T.I. I'm sorry. This is suing Future because they went to an event that Future was holding at a nightclub, and the person at the door.
Oh, he said no fat girls. Or something.
Yeah, no fat girls allowed into the Future. Future don't want any fat girls allowed into the club tonight. So she's trying to sue him for fat shaming.
I mean, I don't know.
Can you sue somebody?
So what if he said nobody under 18 and then the 25 and over clubs?
Yeah, all 18-year-olds would be like, no, that's bullshit.
You're age shaming. I don't know. I mean, I think fat people catch a bad rap.
Say
But
fat people go out there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Obese people, morbidly obese. I mean, what am I? What's the correct term? I can't say midgets. I can't say the F word. Can't say the N word. I'm getting tired of this shit. Like, you know what?
But the suit.
Nigga, fat midget. All right.
So Future.
Getting shut down. Nah, I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding. We
just got back on the air.
That was it.
Now.
I have a ball.
So let me go through this real quick.
All right, go ahead.
All right. T.I. is living. Oh, first it says T.I. calls Leaving Neverland, which is a documentary on Michael, part of an agenda to destroy our culture. T.I. is livid over the allegations against Michael Jackson shared in the Leaving Neverland documentary. The rapper believes the two-part documentary that claims Jackson conducted long-term sexual abusive relationships with two young boys is an assault against African-American culture. In the series of Instagram posts, T.I. defended Jackson while pointing the finger at other white American icons he believes would not hold up to scrutiny. Dead men can't speak. So what was the point again, he wrote on Instagram? Destroy another strong black historical legend? It's several examples of pedophilia in American history. If y'all pulling up our old shit, we got to examine Elvis Presley, Hugh Hefner, and a whole slew of others guilty of the same, if not more.
That I agree with. Absolutely.
The post T.I. shared was an interview between Piers Morgan and Michael Jackson from '99, where Jackson vehemently denied that he would ever abuse a child. I would slit my wrist before I would harm a child. I would never ever, Jackson said. If it wasn't for children, I would throw in the towel, I would kill myself. I wouldn't care to live. The rapper shared a follow-up post questioning the cultural idea that men can't dedicate their life to helping children without being perverse. He used the post to say that African-American culture was under attack.
It is.
Did you want to comment
No,
on
we
that?
can't have nothing. They say, fuck it, let's take it. They'll make it new. They'll make something new. And then when that gets popular, we'll take that from them too. Can't have shit. And then think about one of our good friends, Grim from Dirty Dirty, was saying stuff like, all right, this is that. But what are we gonna do for our community? And like, what are we gonna do for our community to do this and that to be better? Like,
Public vision.
and I'm like, I mean, if black people get to, this is what I feel about this in a way. It's almost like, all right, look at the black people even the black people you look up to ain't shit. Like even the black people that's supposed to be this and supposed to be that, and because like a lot of racist people, they're like, oh, I don't like black people, but I sure do love that LeBron James. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like
what you just said. What you just said reminds me of the. And I'm showing our age here. Remember the son of the owner of the pizza store and Do the Right Thing?
Yeah.
So for those of you that are younger or those that have never seen, or like Beth who haven't seen a lot of black movies.
I saw that movie.
Okay, you saw that movie. All right. Spike Lee is an acceptable black man. So, but do you remember the scene that I'm talking about? There was a scene where they were using the N word a lot and not the A, and they were always talking like in like pseudo racist like kind of ways, and Spike Lee got offended finally, and it was right before like the eruption of the racial stuff before the shit went through the window. He was choked. Do you remember that scene? And he said, I don't remember exactly verbatim, but he was basically like, oh, you're always saying this about black people. You got all these white pictures in here, but let me ask you something. Who's the greatest basketball player? He's like, Michael Jordan. He said, who's the greatest boxer? He goes, who's your favorite boxer? Mike Tyson. Who's your favorite singer? Michael Jackson. Literally. And then he goes, well, they're all black. He goes, but they're not black. They're like, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
like,
yeah.
So I just wanted to bring up that scene only because he reminded me of that scene.
It's almost like, all right, so
give me a flashback.
Look at the black guys look at the black people that you look up to, the ones you think that are exceptional, whatever. Nope, he's a racist, he's a pedophile, he's a this, he's a that. You know what I'm saying? Then it almost puts in your head that if those black people, the only ones that like, some people are not, they just don't know. Like some people that's not black or just don't know a lot of black people, and they just go off of what they see on TV. That's the only point of reference, right?
Some people can't help it because they don't have any interaction with.
They have no idea.
They're in their normal day-to-day life, they don't interact with people from a certain class or ethnicity.
Of like, oh no, they was like in China or Japan or whatever, and they asked them like, "What do you think of black people?" Oh, we from one of the movies they they're pimps.
Did you share that one?
I think so. They're pimps. They're pimps, or they're drug dealers. They're aggressive. They're scary. You know what I'm saying? So people take what they see on TV and apply it into like real life. You know what I'm saying? It's like we see Chinese people, Asian people on TV. Oh, they all know karate. You know what I'm saying? Like we associate that shit just like it's dumb as hell. But people that don't know any Asian people, that's what they gonna think. That's what the fuck they see on TV.
I mean, a lot of. So here's the thing about that, right? So here's the thing about that. Now, here's a commentary on that real quick. So with you saying that, which is I agree with you completely that some people's whole view and interaction with other races and classes come from TV, right? Mm-hmm. So I know this white lady who did this study. She did a study for her dissertation for college years ago, and basically what they did was white, black, Spanish, all people of all colors got together. These students, right? They got together and they viewed like 100 different channels, right? Like 100 different channels. Like they sat for they took shifts and they all watched channels and they made notation of everything. Every time they showed specifically targeted. Every time they showed a black or a white person dealing with the authorities as they were the criminal, they said way higher percentage of the time they always showed like the black person in handcuffs, and then they would show if it was a similar crime,
they'll show like with his family or
they'll show the black guy in handcuffs, and then they'll show the white guy with his family or a picture, but they'll show the mugshot of the black guy. No, these are white people that the lady who told me about it, who showed me the data, she was white herself. And they were saying and I've noticed it myself too. Like if you notice on media when they show certain things, they depict it a certain way. That's because our media is controlled by, even though we have hundreds and hundreds of channels and things and that, just like the record industry, a lot of it's only controlled by a very small group of people that have a certain political agenda, and a lot of that sometimes revolves around race, but it's deeper than that. I mean, because the real people that really control shit really don't give a fuck about black or white. They don't care about race. That's a tool of division because it's an easy tool to use to keep us from unifying. They don't really, the people at the top don't really the only color they give a fuck about is green. They don't give a fuck about white or black. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But they use racial tension because it's so easy to drive a wedge. It's an easy thing. You look in a room. Somebody without knowing our cultural backgrounds will look in a room and say white, Spanish, black, and they would just, that's it. Like they not knowing that I'm multiracial, not knowing that black Cash being the Tony is somebody somewhere was white in his family. Somebody could have been African in your family.
They were.
So what I'm saying is like my son who has blonde hair and blue eyes, right? He's got percentages of African in him. My mother's got blonde hair and blue eyes. My mother's like 20-something% African. My mother has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's like 20-something% African. She's got a more of an African American nose. She's got an afro, but she's blonde hair and blue eyes. But people not knowing the history would look at that and classify. So, anyways, my point being is that the racial paradigm, it's fucked up, right? Because a lot of people that don't understand it in the broader aspect think that it's against black people and for white people, but white people are victims of the same paradigm. Because think about this: some people look at like, oh, white people are benefiting from it. They're all set. No, they're not, because they're being lied to too, and they're being put and separated from their cousins, their relatives, because all people of all color all trace our heritage back to Lucy in Africa. Whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever, across the fucking Barren Strait, Native American, wherever the fuck you are, we all trace our lineage back to Lucy. Thus far, as scientific data proves, Lucy's the oldest known fossils ever. It all traces back. Mitochondria DNA from Lucy goes all the way and can be traced right into white people like such as yourself and people of mixed breed of myself. So the point that I'm saying is that though it is a racial issue, that is a fucking smokescreen, because the people that are on top that really control shit really don't give a fuck about black or white or this and that, because some of them are not white.
I can't really 100% agree with that, because
go ahead.
There's also like a extermination of black people going on all across the fucking world.
No, I'm not saying it's not racial. I'm saying that the racial thing is not really their intent, not their overall goal.
There's stuff in foods that's genetically made to affect black people.
Bleached items are worse for people of color. We talked about that before, right?
There's other shit. It's not just bleach stuff. I mean, there's other shit that they have that like genetically messes up black people more than it messes up any other race of people. You know what I'm saying? And they ship that shit to the supermarkets and the food places in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying?
What did Brother Tommy from Universal Collective Philly, shout out to Brother Tommy and the Hip Hop Party for the People in the North Philly Peace Park. He said, nah, B, he said, do you realize that they're practicing food apartheid on our people? That's why we have these gardens in the ghetto. I said, what do you mean food apartheid? Because that's a strong terminology. People don't realize that apartheid was a very racial social system that was instituted in South Africa up until like the late 80s that Nelson Mandela, African National Congress, helped overthrow. He was like, well, look at it. He goes, people live in these far neighborhoods in North Philly. They don't have access necessarily to transportation, and the closest thing to them is a price right? Which has all these poisonous foods. They don't have a Whole Foods here in North Philly, in the ghetto, and this and that. They don't have these other, and even if they did, financially they can't afford it. You know how many mothers would feed their kids good food, but they have to take that $5 and go to fucking, think about it right now. There's a poor mother right now, and not just black, poor white people too. There's poor people tonight who would love to have made their kids quality food, but they had to go to Burger King and get those 10 nuggets for $1 because that's all they could afford.
I know. I've been one of them.
So that's why I was saying it goes across the color barrier, but a lot of it is focused on the
that's one thing,
the urban environment.
Genetically engineered food that's made to biologically fuck up black people and stuff like
but that's not just black people though, it's all of us though. It is all of us because we're all victims of it too.
Biologically engineered.
Correct. But I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, as far as all that genetically altered shit, it affects all of us, though.
Your stomach looks pretty good. I've been the one sick for 7 years, so I don't know what's going on, but
hey, man.
We're not gonna come on that because you'll start unstrapping shit. We don't want to say nothing about you. We don't want to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Gluten comes from the GMOs.
You look pretty strong.
I always thought that gluten allergy. I always thought that gluten allergy thing was bullshit.
Over years and years and years of being put in adverse situations and obviously your genetics come a little bit
there are things that are genetically specific, right? But there are things that are genetically specific, like sickle cell, and things like that. There are things that are genetically specific.
Yeah, but they're genetically specific for a lot of different nationalities.
But what he's saying is that basically what he's saying in a nutshell is that he thinks that they're
no, I don't think it's a fact.
No,
he believes that there's a group of people that actively poison the black community in an attempt to disrupt them. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. I agree with him. I agree with him.
Look it up.
I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm just playing devil's advocate and bringing up the other elements. But I agree with him completely.
Look it up. I don't have to agree with me. Just go look for yourself.
Okay, well, that's okay. So if you did prove it, Here's a question: what are you gonna do now?
Well, you start by educating yourself,
exactly,
food-wise, and then teaching the people around you. I've already started it.
Kids,
like I've already started. Like I in my household, we've eliminated like anything with GMOs. Like we did the research. Like any brands, even stuff that I love. Like I love Pop Tarts, but Kellogg's uses GMOs. I don't fuck with them no more. I don't fuck with them no more. Every now and then, I'll cheat at work and I'll eat something with a GMO. Where wifey can't see it, but you know what I'm saying. Wifey can't see it, but in general, I stay away from it. I thought the other day, listen, check this out. I'm thinking, I'm shopping certain brands, thinking I'm okay, and I went and I bought like I've given up I pretty much have cut out 80% of the red meat in my diet. But every now and then I like a steak. I can't help it. I like a steak. So I went and got a steak. So I got the steak seasoning, right? And I buy it. I look on the back of the ingredients. It doesn't have any ingredients. There's certain ingredients that I don't eat because some of it's pork oil and other things. I don't eat a lot of. There's certain things I don't have a very restrictive diet, but I do label read a lot. I'm not saying I'm a health nut, but I do if something says genetically modified. Anyway, if something says genetically modified and I bought it, I'm gonna fucking eat it because I bought it.
Nigga read a label
but I'm not. But nigga, you don't know me that well because I read everything. So what I'm saying is this.
I didn't say you did.
I buy because we go food shopping all the time together. So I buy this.
You go out of state with you before you got to eat when we out that bitch.
Oh, that's different. We out of state on vacation. I'm just eating. Whoa! We're gonna. They don't. There's no labels when you go to a restaurant.
The truth comes out.
No, there's no labels when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah, there isn't. You don't know what to get. Most restaurants
are. Anyways, I buy this seasoning. I forget what brand it is, but it's a famous brand of what do you call that? What do you call that when you put your steak in something?
Sauce?
Marinade. It's a famous marinade. One of the best sellers at Stop and Shop or whatever. The Montreal steak seasoning or whatever. I love it. Such a great taste, whatever.
You don't know the name. You don't like
no, it's Montreal steak seasoning. I can't think of the name brand. So I buy it, right? I buy it, and I've read the package before, right? So I read the package before, but the package that I read, it's the powder, and you gotta take your own olive oil, right? And you take the seasoning, you boil whatever, and you throw your shit in there. But this time, you know what I'm saying, I was lazy and was in a rush, and I bought the pre-made one that you don't have to add nothing to. The other ones you gotta add olive oil to, you gotta mix it. This one comes already liquid. I never seen it before. I was like, fuck it. I don't have a lot of hours in the day, so I'm like, fuck it, right? So I buy it. I get home. I put it on the fucking steak. I throw the steak in the air fryer, right? Yes, you can cook steaks in the air fryer. They're awesome. I look on the back of the fucking label. It says genetically modified or some shit like that on it. It doesn't say GMO. It says something. No, but it said something different. Like some labels say contains GMOs, but this said something else. Something genetic modification or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's just seasoning. And it's like if you do research into the stuff that you eat, you'd be surprised at the labels that use GMOs. Now, some people argue that GMOs are not bad for you, right? But I don't agree with that. You're tampering with nature, right? You're tampering with nature. Remember that story I told Cash? We talked about before about the tomato plant and people being allergic to tobacco?
Yeah.
Remember, Beth, do you remember back in the I don't know if you remember back in the 90s, now we're more health conscious and there's less of it, but back in the late 90s, there was a lot of cases of people getting allergic reactions without knowing. A lot of people were dumbfounded because they were like, I didn't eat anything I'm allergic to. I know what I'm allergic to. I didn't eat that. I didn't eat nothing different. I didn't eat nothing. Excuse me. I'm allergic to nothing. Blah blah blah. Why do I have hives? Well, some people would be let's say there are people allergic to everything. There's people allergic to latex. People allergic to peanuts. People allergic to milk. There's people allergic to tobacco, right? Well, what they were doing is they were taking, this is just one example, they were taking these tomato plants. This is a real actual example, scientific example, not like a possibility. They were taking the DNA cells from tobacco plants because the tobacco plant for some reason is more resilient than tomato plants, and they were splicing it in with the tomatoes to make the tomatoes be able to withstand more northern climates, and they were integrating it with it, and then people would then go and get pasta sauce or pizza and get sick and go, I'm not allergic to pizza or pasta sauce. Why am I getting sick? Because back in the late 90s, if you did not have to put something that was genetically altered on a label. There was no regulations for it in the late 90s. Early 90s, late 90s. So if you had to put, like, if you had pepper and corn and cheese in it, you had to put it. But if you put something that was genetically engineered, you didn't have to put it on the label. So people were getting allergic reactions. That's just one case. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now we're more health conscious. People are more label reading, and now we have the internet. You could just look some shit up. Before, people were just raw dogging it and doing what they're doing.
Right.
You know. Did you have any comment you wanted to make on that, Cash?
No.
All right. All right.
Is it all right?
Oh, by the way, beer is genetically modified sometimes too.
It is, and I'm a label reader with that too.
Arsenic in it.
I really I traditionally I like more craft beer, especially local stuff. But I don't drink like Budweiser and all that other shit anymore. You can't drink it. But did you want to go into your Megabeth thing, or you want to go to a video and come back? Give you a few minutes?
No, we go to Megabeth first, then we go to the video.
You want to Megabeth first?
Megabeth. Go ahead, Megabeth.
Let's get a good, smooth delivery, just like UPS.
Yeah, okay.
Of what?
They'll leave your shit on the porch with no remorse in the hood. We're shitty motherfuckers outside.
All right, I got it.
Motherfuckers like this, and they'll drop your shit on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First, I'm going to ask you a question about time. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with
It's
one of these
late.
questions. Don't be giving me one of these questions where, like, the answer is yes or no. Would you go up or down?
All right. Listen. Did you ever feel like time slowed down in a moment when you're with somebody or something happened and you're like...
I think, yeah, of course. I think some people like,
You mean like
will make you like lose sense of time.
You mean like
literally slow down?
Yeah.
So I know like there's occasions.
Like you're like with somebody and you're like...
on LSD, I've had that happen.
I can't believe it's
On
like
mushrooms.
5 o'clock right now. Like I feel like we just got together. Like that kind of feeling.
Well, speed up, yeah.
Oh, well, because
Yeah.
time flies because you
It's
don't
like-
pay attention to time when you're like
right,
having a great
I'm
time.
saying
It's
the
like-
opposite now.
Like
yeah,
longer?
Like slow down.
Yeah, like
it's been
time is
forever.
slowing down for you. dude.
Only on psychedelics have I ever felt that.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't think
Next
so.
question. Did you ever feel like you're late for something? Like you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be over here.
Like just feel like you're in the wrong space.
Yeah, like you're in the wrong space time.
I felt out of time. So there's a lot of times where I felt like I was supposed to live like a long time ago, at a time where things were more like direct and it wasn't all this like other like stuff, like more like in like the direct battle kind of days, like before we used guns and stuff like that. I've always like kind of seen myself like as like fitting more into those kind of times.
Is there certain times where you feel that way more than others?
Yeah, I think it's well. Sometimes I'll look at like sometimes when a lot of times when if I look at like pictures of like the Prohibition era too, I get like little like.
You look like one of them goofy motherfuckers. Like, oh, looks like a goofy motherfucker.
No, I get like
me.
flashes. I get like flashes of like me, but I look like myself now, like in one of those like pinstripe suits with like a Tommy gun hanging outside the door. I mean, maybe that's just because I grew up around, the glorification of that gangster lifestyle, and that was like the timeline where people used to. But I don't know. I've always felt like a connection to that timeline, like almost like I was born out of time, kind of sometimes. Not all. I don't feel it all the time. It's like sometimes when I look at old photographs and stuff. I've had it happen, and not on psychedelics, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
Did you ever feel like that you were late for something? Like when you got to a place, you're like time shifted, and you were like, oh my god, I was supposed to be here a lot sooner. Like that feeling? You ever have that feeling?
You mean like getting to like a physical location and then feeling like I should have been here like 10 minutes ago?
You should have been here like sooner. Like you were like it was planned and you were supposed to be there like maybe years before, or like.
I've had a couple of situations where in my life where monumental things have happened or not happened, and I've like we talked about this one time, Cash. Actually, we talked about this. I talked about this to you one night. We was fucking drunk though. I was talking to you one night about how like there's times in my life where I felt like I've gotten to a place or an event or a situation, and like I'll see something already in play, and I felt like I've missed like my chance. Like I was supposed to be there, but I didn't. Remember those? Remember when we were younger, Cash? What were those books called? Choose Your Own Adventure. Remember those books when we were younger?
I never read when I was younger.
and you could skip to the
and it shows.
It's like a mystery.
You know, it's a
book,
plan
right?
to destroy the black man, to not let him know about the libraries. So, oh man, my mother would kill. My mother always hates when I say library. It's library. No, so back in the days we always had. Remember those books?
So
we had those books. Those adventure books.
About library.
I've always said that, and I know the definition of most words. So
most of them.
Most of them. Just don't know just don't know how to. Just don't ask me to spell it. Don't ask me to spell it. So you don't remember those books though, Cash? No. You would read it, and it would be like 100 pages, right? Youth book, like not like you, like young teen. We would read the book, and it would say he walks through the door, and then a goblin jumps out. Go to page 55 if you wanna. If you think he should attack the goblin, go to page 65 if you think he should run away, and then it changes the end of the story. Yeah, those were before like video games where they were. There was like video games were around.
They did them with mysteries too.
Yeah, like so basically how you chose what page you went to decided the book. Segue for people that are into LSD. If you ever get the chance to take psychedelics and get an original copy of Alice in Wonderland, that book. I believe me and my cousin sat down for 2 days looking at that book. I believe that the Alice in Wonderland, the original book, is set up like that. Like don't read the Alice in Wonderland book from cover to cover. There's little hints, and then you jump from page to page to page. For instance, if you go to there's a page in the originals like copies that they're talking about the Queen, right? Mm-hmm. And the knights, and the actual words are written in an L shape, and the L is in 4 spaces on the chessboard. Yes. Okay. So you go from that page to page 4, and the story connects.
Really?
Cool. Yeah, but cool. That's it. But anyways, so that's Cass. Have you ever had that experience? Like feeling like you should have, like you went somewhere but you were supposed to be there, like.
Nah.
Okay, so it's kind of a segue.
She's setting us up. You know that,
totally setting you up.
It's not as bad as it was last time, though.
I don't remember ever having.
You wasn't here last time.
Okay, so I got. I took a little bit of this from the physics, the quantum entanglement, and then I was going toward. I was looking at time and space. And how Einstein thought that they were together. It wasn't a separate two separate entities. They were together, so that
time, as far as like human construct of time, like hours,
yes,
or time like seasons, because that's different to me.
All together, time and space make like an L shape. So if you have
time, is this the string theory?
Yes.
Okay, the string theory. Yeah. I'm familiar with it.
So, but
you know what that is? String theory.
So they explained it as time and space as two people. So two people could be like, well, actually they explained it as a alien way up, too far, too far away from each other, totally far away from each other. Now, if one of them decides to get on, like right when they're, so if you picture a slice, like a loaf of bread, time and space is like the length and the distance of it. And if you slice it, everyone slices it different, right? So you'll have these different slices. Well, if two people are on one slice, but they're on further
planes,
into the spectrum,
right? And one of them now they're in time and space. No matter where they are, an alien could be out there and different, and they'd still be in the same time per se. But what happens is if the alien got on a bike and went that way, that when he goes that way,
he's going backwards.
He's going backwards in time. And then if he went this way, he would go forward in time.
But they're both existing at the same time.
And what they're saying is that there is no, like past and future are happening together, right?
That's the only way time travel could be possible.
But there's a huge group of people that believe that true time is not linear.
It's over. Once it's over, it's over.
Time is not linear. Meaning, like, your birth and your death are happening in the same minute. We're just experiencing at different times. So, meaning your time is not linear.
Right.
Meaning, like, the moment of your life, the moment of your birth is here. Like, the moment of the string theory, right? Mm-hmm. The type of thing is like, the moment of your birth is here, Cash. The moment of your death is here. Right, and we see it in a linear sense because of a human construct. We see things in linear sense, right? Monday, Friday, 2018.
Right.
But they say, in fact, time, the way for time travel is to splice in through the realms, and it makes it like this. So therefore, time becomes a loop, and it becomes at any point you can connect into that loop, and it's not linear. You get what I'm saying? Because linear
would mean that it was over. Like once it's over, it's over. There's no going back.
Like there's no but 1999 happened. It was a great time. We all did a lot of coke. It's over.
But it's not over. But here's the thing: you're like the past and present is basically proven that it's planned out. It's all planned. Like everything happens.
Now we're talking about predestination.
No, it's that's what they're trying to prove. They're trying to prove that it's all.
But you can't really prove. Just
I don't know how much.
They're doing this.
I don't know how much I just don't know. I'll be the one to say I don't know. I don't even have a theory on it. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
And like to be able to like time travel, obviously it couldn't be linear. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys said, it couldn't be linear if time travel was possible. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just if it's over, it's over, right? But to say, and then there's a theory, like we said, a parallel universe that there's another me living in another universe at the same time.
Right. So then we got to put that in there, and then that's kind of like a.
Yeah. So
how do we do that?
I think
that's why I say I don't fucking know.
You know what I always wondered. I always wondered if sometimes when you dream, is that you in like seeing like visions of like a parallel. A parallel thing, yeah. Because I didn't believe. See, the thing about. I think that there's one thing that we as a society as a whole have not accepted, that if we did, a lot of these things that we call theories and these things that seem so crazy would make more sense. The fact that we have not accepted the scientific data that shows that we are a collective consciousness. All species that are sentient in the sense of they have a knowledge of their existence. They're like a tree might not be considered by some people, depending on who you're talking about, sentient. But I'm talking about like monkeys, mammals, and things of that nature. That are dolphins. Think of the higher intelligence levels. It's been scientifically proven that they are collective consciousness. What I mean is like this.
They don't have to talk to each other. They don't have to
talk to each other to learn something. Like they proved it with these monkeys in these islands. We talked about this too one time when we were drunk. Matter of fact, we were drunk. As most of our conversations
I'm glad I don't get drunk no more.
So the as he got his bear there that I just spiked. So take out the black man, do a bear. So they had these monkeys on these islands, and these islands were uninhabited by humans, and they were like them islands where humans do go, but they set up the cameras and they leave so that the monkeys will do what they naturally do because they're not used to seeing humans. And these islands were like so far apart, like these monkeys couldn't swim. There were no boats traveling back and forth. I'm just saying all this to eliminate anybody's. Well, what to say? These monkeys were not moving from island to island. They were too far apart, but they were close in the region, but they couldn't get to each other. They weren't traveling from boat to boat or whatever. And they had all this filming going on. You know, they put up those cameras. They do 24 hours. So they went back over but they weren't there for this. They were there for something else. The wild monkey and the so and so islands. And you talked about that. I know you remember this. And they what they did was they had these like coconuts or whatever, and they used to like take like an hour to smash these coconuts, right? Like they would smash them on the ground. They would do all this shit to them and smash them. It would take forever to get these coconuts open. And then one day they just happened to be filming for something else, and they saw this one monkey who I guess was a little more intelligent than the rest, right? Literally like dead ass. Like this was it. Because like I don't talk about nothing unless Cash knows, and he'll tell you like if it's not facts or I haven't seen it myself, I'll say theory. I'll say it right from the beginning. This is factual shit. So I've seen the footage. They showed the monkey like this, whatever. They showed the monkey, and the other monkeys were like this with the fucking coconut. Ooh, with the coconut. The other one was like this. He picked up a rock. He looked like this. He looked at the thing. He looked at the other monkeys. It took him a little longer because, they're not as intelligent as humans. And then he took the friggin' rock, and he smashed the coconut with the rock like this, and he opened it up so easy. The other monkeys watched. They followed. Okay, monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey do, yeah.
But simultaneously, because they were filming on multiple islands, these other monkeys on other islands that they couldn't walk to each other, like right in the same couple of days, not years. Other monkeys, all of a sudden, that was going like this, out of the blue, were taking a rock.
Okay, so that brings up my quantum entanglement, which is the spooky connection beyond space and time, is actions happening at the same time.
Quantum entanglement. Can you describe the definition?
So it's when two subatomic particles that mirror and change in each other and instantaneously over a distance. So two subatomic particles that mirror change.
Subatomic are like so small we can't see.
Yeah.
We know it exists.
We just know it exists. So anyway, and what it is like cause and effect happening at the same time. But that is so similar to like time and space happening at the same time, right? So the string theory, that's like the same thing. And that is the same. That's what it is. It's the monkeys on a different island. They don't see each other. They don't know what's going on. But at the same time, someone figured out. It's just proven. It's just the coolest thing, right?
It's like when we talk about like the consciousness, that's almost a part of it. Like you see birds, they'll all be flying this one way, and all of a sudden they all just change to a different direction
just change
without warning and stuff, and they all know where to go. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't necessarily have something that breaks that consciousness up, like the division that what I'm saying, like we have like racism and all of this bullshit. They don't want us to have that consciousness to be able to, like we do it subconsciously.
We have to fight for that consciousness.
We do it subconsciously. We have to. And like think about it. Perfect example is like if you think of Kundalini, which is
Kundalini yoga.
Yeah. Well, the yoga is part of it, but the Kundalini is the
spine alignment.
The snake coil at the bottom of the base of your spine.
Yep.
And think about what does snakes represent? And
infinity.
Christianity negative, but in ancient cultures they actually represented wisdom. That's why they show a lot of pharaohs with snakes and stuff like that. And our whole basis of that is our whole basis of thinking. Our whole basis of calling somebody a snake who's sneaky is solely based on the Western Christian ideology of the Bible. It's one story.
Wait, guess what?
That has no evidence.
When you look at Kundalini, the snake is the base of opening that consciousness.
Right.
Well, because a lot of it is the going up your spine.
Exactly. And then what is the thing that they say is the worst thing? A snake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that right there just destroys your ability to activate your if you believe that automatically.
Or if you're afraid of snakes, it's the same thing. They're not going to go, oh, well, I can't think of a snake.
My mother is so afraid of snakes. My mother would rather face a person with a gun than a garden snake.
Right.
She's so afraid of snakes.
Right.
But and a lot of, like he's saying, like a lot of our whole thing of calling a person a snake to being snaky all comes from the Judeo-Christian Islamic doctrine.
But then if you look at the paramedic sign, what is it?
It's a snake.
That's the catechist. It's actually called the catechist symbol, which goes back to people who don't know the real history. They trace it back to the Hermes and the Greek, but it actually predates that and goes back to Egyptian Kemetan mythology that was stolen by the Greeks. And the catechist symbol is like the snake. It's really the snake and the DNA helix. Which at the time, how the fuck did we didn't map the human genome until until the 19 I don't want to say, what is it when we're
It's 1 century
no, but
ahead.
the 1900s is the
20th century.
20th century. Okay, so the 20th century, we didn't really map the human genome until the 20th century. Sidebar: one of the guys who mapped the human genome wrote a very interesting book about his support of the seeding theory. The seeding theory that which is most prostitutes know about that. No, I'm just kidding. It's the theory. It's the scientifical presumption that we're actually not of this planet and we were like a microbe on a shattered piece of thing that came here because a lot of the things on this planet kill us. It's a water planet. There's a lot of things about us that scientifically it looks like we're not from this planet. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm just saying that's something. So what is it? So this quantum entanglement. Why did you bring it up? There's a reason. Why? What is it? What is it about it that you feel so strongly about? Because you've been a lot about this alternate realities and things like that. And
well, I'm thinking about the consciousness, the upper consciousness. I think a lot of times our science
define that
is
for people. What is the upper consciousness?
Upper consciousness, like when you're talking about opening up the consciousness, the kundalini. I think a lot of us we're either too intellectual or we're too
savage, Too physical or too spiritual?
Yeah, it's almost like...
So physical that you can't
We're not only getting divided in black and white or every other thing or sex or whatever, but we're also divided by super intellectual and out of the body, kind of up in the brain too much. And then other people that are like, when I was saying how...
Just
like,
whatever. It's like,
like...
don't need to worry about that.
Oh, look, more kitties on Facebook. Oh, another video of kitties
funny
just to numb you. Like, you know what I mean?
By the way, I don't want to add to that, but I have the funniest kitty picture of all time.
Right? Because they're cute, but then it's everybody's doing it, and then everyone puts this quote on their page, you know, like this really deep quote, and half of them don't even follow it. And
they don't know what the fuck it means.
And then someone gave me this. Someone gave me this from the Book of the Dead, which is like
which one? The Tibetan or Egyptian?
No, the Egyptian.
Because there's two different ones.
And it's a quote, both. And I put it on my interpretation. I can't remember the lady's name, but he swears by this interpretation. But anyway,
are you familiar with that book, Cash? Egyptian Book of the Dead.
The Book of the Dead.
Some of it was funerary rites. Of how to prepare the body for afterwards. Some of it was prayers. Mm-hmm. Some of it's, Beth, one day when we've got some time and we're more in a private setting, I have a copy of that you might find. Awesome. That's not necessarily, I have a copy of it that you can't necessarily just go to a bookstore and get. I'll show it to you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you gotta be in the private setting.
So I found
because we have to have our clothes off to read it.
And all this and all this is kind of like something I'm just stirring in my head. But
guess who's catching the charge?
So here's the quote. Okay. Do you know magic? Can you utter the name of your soul? Bring yourself back to the light. Can you speak your destiny? Create life for yourself, from yourself, as God created the sun. From the light of your works, do you know who you are? And that just kind of like it's not from the light of you, do you know who you are? It's from the light of your works. What do you leave behind? What are you doing now? What do you, you know?
That's all God
if
shit,
we're
though.
all, but it's
all
in quantum physics and I think there's a connection there. I don't think it's different.
I just want to say this. I just want to say that I've studied a lot of different things. And I've studied a lot of things. I've had a lot of different teachers that I didn't agree or necessarily agree with everything they've taught. But I've learned from a lot of people from a lot of different schools of thought all around the world and things like that. And I'm not saying that to say that I know everything. I'm just, what I want to say is that the people that I've met that were the deepest thinkers, like the ones that really, I'm not saying they were right. I'm just saying the ones that really take time to really analyze and break stuff down. The deepest of thinkers I've ever met, of people. The elders do not see a conflict between spirituality and science.
Right.
The deepest of thinkers I've ever met.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that because we always put those as two separate things, right? We see science over here, we see spirituality over here.
Well,
they don't see it as they don't see it as separate things.
Did you say spirituality or religion?
I would say religion if I meant religion. I mean spirituality. I mean the concept of spirit and energy. I'm not talking religion. We're not talking Christianity. We're not talking. Yeah, we're talking. When I say spirituality, I mean the concepts of a spirit and energies and other things like that. And if you want,
scientists don't recognize that?
Most well-educated scientists are actually atheists.
Yeah.
Not what's the other word? No, agnostic. They're not agnostic. The difference between an agnostic is somebody like me who believes in God but doesn't believe in traditional religion. Sorry to my Muslim family. Inshallah, I'm just telling the truth. But an atheist doesn't believe in a God at all. They believe completely in science. So the deepest of scientists, the ones that were the deepest thinkers of them all, 95% of them are atheists. I'm not saying it makes it right or wrong. I'm saying I'm talking about people that study spirituality and stuff.
I would say
don't
80%.
see. It's a lot.
It's changing a little bit.
I think it's changing.
Especially with quantum physics.
What did that guy? Who was that guy? They said the deepest scientist was that guy with the "Hello, how are you?" Stephen Hawking, right? Was he an atheist or wasn't he an atheist?
He was an atheist in the beginning. I think before he died, he changed.
Most people at NASA, the highest levels of NASA, most of them.
Does anyone know?
Was this what was
Stephen Hawkins? Didn't he change a theory or question something
look it up.
before he died?
You keep talking.
While we look that up, we can go to this next video.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about. We'll be right back.
Right back.
Whatever happened to the days that we had, even though we didn't have, we was glad. All we missing was a dad. Gun cases, fed cases, no papers. Heart aching, heart breaking, I'm waiting. Corner getting lit up, but we got you getting lit up. When you give a nigga too much, he got you getting bitter. Meanwhile, he's out on bail with no bracelet. When you broke, no worth, not worth saving. Can't find work, you take that risk, crazy. Flick that wrist, just don't go serve babies. Red or blue pill, if I eat them, will it save me? Mix it with the liquor, had me all up in the matrix. I dodge bullets, dodge cops with arsenals on a dark corner. I remember the hospitals when the doctor put the probes in my head. Bitch, you can't imagine what goes on in there.
Don't go crazy, I'm here and born this way. Don't go crazy, that's why these mornings ain't for me. Go crazy, I'll try to do my best to get that acceptance from you. This life is not for me. Don't go crazy, I'm here and born this way. Don't go crazy, I hear these voices in my head. Go crazy, I'll try to do my best to get that acceptance from you, but I just know this life ain't me. Fall on my knees and pray, letter in the bottle gon' answer me. Fall on my knees and pray. They helped me out and not hold me back. Gave them everything and they owe
Somebody
me that.
tell me what's wrong with me. Something's going on with me. Nobody really noticed but my aunt Nina before she left. She was like, you depressed, you withdrawn, gotta get it off your chest. Wanted to tell her, but I couldn't. Too young to understand the world I was put in. I really wish I could have made my mother proud. Nobody paid attention till I let them down. The doctors couldn't fix me. Asleep on a porch fully dressed, but nobody came to get me. Now I ride filthy, hammers on the way, so no time to pop the trunk case a nigga wanna kill me. 10,000 cash in my pocket for the re-up. Help my mama with the bills, I don't buy sneakers. Living life on the fast lane, dying on the inside. Anxiety is everything on fire on the inside.
Don't go crazy, I'm here and born this way. Don't go crazy, that's why these mornings ain't for me. Go crazy, I'll try to do my best to get that acceptance from you. This life is not for me. Don't go crazy, I'm here and born this way. Don't go crazy, I hear these voices in my head. Go crazy, I'll try to do my best to get that acceptance from you, but I just know this life ain't me. Don't go crazy, don't go crazy, don't go crazy, don't go crazy. Voices in my head.
My name's No Saint River. I don't know how it translates to y'all when you're reading it, but it's No Saint River. We was young. I went to school. After school, we was standing at the top of the corner, and they told us we was playing with our lives. But I mean, I think we knew better than anybody else could know that it's not a game, and none of this was supposed to happen. If the fire don't get him, when I wish him good riddance, and the pressure gon' cook him, I never stop looking. My mother with the same face when I come around. She worry about the consequences, know what's going down. All her tears going down in the middle of the night when she hope her son come inside. I remember way back then, when you told me not to come back in, and that was my fault. I'm lost now, all up in the source now. Life hard, playing hardball, something soft now. Manager's a damager, can't even get a call now. Gunfire around my past till I fall down from my own tombstone graveyard shit. 3 a.m. still drinking on my graveyard shift. If you my nigga, then you worry about me, and I'm supposed to tell you not to worry about it. By it, I mean anything means me. Just know that I got you, as long as you got me. I look him in his eyes and didn't realize was his last time talking, last time speaking to me, last time walking, last time breathing. My memories ain't letting me be, and these visions ain't letting me sleep. But without him, I would feel incomplete. I'd rather die than have them taken from me. I'd rather die than have them taken.
Alright, or are we? Damn like election time, damn like Christmas time,
damn like memories, dead like friends of mine. They're not dead to me. Are we gonna be alright? Or are we damn like election time, damn like Christmas time, damn like memories, dead like friends of mine? Are we gonna be alright? Are we gonna be alright? Or damn like election time, damn like Christmas time, damn like memories, dead like friends of mine.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop. You know what I'm saying?
We are in a different dimension. We are in a different world. There was one time, I want to add this real quick. There was one time in my life that I felt like I went to like a different place. There was one time, and remember how I told you I have a couple of books that you can't necessarily buy in bookstores, and I told you some other stuff that I'm not gonna repeat on about the Egyptian stuff. I was reading a book that is supposed to be like real stuff that even predates the Bible, like not something you go and find a Penguin Classic of, and real esoteric stuff. And I remember, like, I'll never forget this. I remember I had the book like this, and I was reading something, and it was like really blowing me away. And I like closed the book like this, and I went like this, and I was like just so like overwhelmed by like everything that I was like, I'm just gonna like lay down, not even because I'm tired, just because like I don't even want to like contemplate this right now. Like it was so, I was very young at the time. I wasn't even 21 at the time. I was very, very young reading this, like a teenager. And I went back like this. I went back like this, and as soon as I've never experienced this before. Like I went back, and I wasn't like tired, exhausted, passed out. I wasn't on psychedelics. Anybody was watching earlier. I went like this. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I could see myself from a third person perspective. My body, like an astral form, kind of like drifting, and like I slowly landed like on this like snowbank with like this like moon setting, and I heard like this like giant roar in the background, and I said, "Fuck this!" And I woke myself right back up, and I was up all night.
Wow.
I didn't pass out. I wasn't on drugs, and it was like this, Beth. It was literally like, to me, linearly, this is how it happened. Oh man, this is crazy. Close this book. Boom. Oh, fuck this. Wake up. Just like that.
Wow.
What about like Deja Vu then? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a glitch in the Matrix, man. We saw that movie.
That's what it is?
Well, they say there was an explanation for deja vu. I found interesting. I forgot what it was.
Well, listen, I just did a thing on deja vu too.
See how that works? See how my consciousness is?
See a little play on words? Deja vu too?
My kundalini.
What is deja vu in French? What is it? What's the
synchronicities? Deja vu.
What is deja vu is a French, but what does it mean? The actual.
Well,
it means something.
Actual means.
Go ahead, and I'll look.
Like
deja vu.
That you have a feeling something happened before it happened.
I gotta,
or you've seen it happen.
Or you've seen it happen, or you've been there before.
But I've had deja vu, and I've been like, I know this is really gonna happen. Like you sit there, like this is really gonna happen. Like I know this is like. Sometimes you see it, but you don't actually remember like what's gonna happen next. You just remember that you've seen the shit before.
Yes, and you're like, oh shit.
There's been a couple times when I sit there and I was in a deja vu, like, this person about to do this, and this person about to do this, and you sit there and I sit there and watch it happen. That's happened to me before, and that's just weird. That's just almost scary. Like, oh, you can, like, and that's another thing about consciousness. Imagine you can control stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this is deja vu's coming, so I'm gonna change the way that this could outcome.
You can do it with dreams.
Was you the one that was talking? We were talking about what was it? No, it was Mike. Remember we were talking about.
How do I'm talking right, and then you're texting, and then you come out and you start off with a whole new subject.
Well, no, I'm talking about what you're talking about. You're talking about I'm chiming in what you're saying. You're saying change reality. Remember Mike was talking about saying words. Was it words over snowflakes or something like that?
Oh yeah, they changed the
that's what
like negative word that had nothing to do with the fuck I was talking about.
But It's just my part of my plot to destroy the black man. No. Keep drinking that genetically modified beer.
It's just you not taking your medicine. And can't concentrate on what's going on.
Pretty sober tonight.
You can change, like they say, you have a reoccurring dream. You actually can change the dream.
Have you ever had one?
A reoccurring dream?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I had only in this one fuck. That's why I believe in like haunted houses and ghosts and shit like that. Cause
there was ghosts.
No, but this one house, this one apartment, me and my kid's mom, we lived in. And it was a fucked up apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like we was living with a friend, and then we ended up like getting enough money to move. But this apartment was kind of fucked up, and it was in Osaka and shit. And it's the only apartment that I ever lived in. The only place I ever lived where I had like these spells, like almost like you're getting electrocuted.
Really?
Yeah, you be sitting there like bzzz, almost to the point where you feel like you're gonna pass out. And
I know what you're talking about.
And then
it's like an energy.
Yeah, it's like really like bzzz, you can just feel it like going through your body and shit. And I had stopped smoking weed. I would stop drinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell's wrong with me and shit? You know what I'm saying? And my kid's mom was going through it too. And it was the only time I would have like I would wake up and feel like I can't talk. You know what I'm saying? Like you're pinned down and shit. I would see like stuff out the corner of my eyes all the time. Like what's going on? And I would have a reoccurring dream. And this reoccurring dream, it was like a fucking game show where I'm terrified of heights, right? Like it was like a Japanese game show. Like really had like a Japanese host there. And it had like a jetpack on, right? And it was this fucking big ass.
Sounds about right.
That's like this big ass like tree or something. I don't know what you want to call it. It was like this big ass structure that was like high as fuck, like really high. And it had like these little like tabs on it. And the game show guy was like, yeah, go up to the top and hit all the tabs all the way up to the top. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. And that was the dream. Like I'll get like a quarter way up, and then I'll wake up, and then like 2 days later, I'll be fucking. The dream continue right where I left off, still going up for like a fucking at least like 5 separate times. I'm on way. I'm terrified. Like, and the host got a jetpack on too. On it to my way up to the top. Yo, I get to the top.
I wonder if the ghosts were Japanese.
Yo, I get to the top. That motherfucker like, now you gotta go all the way back down and tell him. I'm like, no, I gotta do the same shit on the way back down. Like in the dream, I feel like it was like a million of these motherfuckers. I'm hit, and I'm terrified. That's like to my
How
like.
long did you endure that place?
How many times did you have that dream with them?
At least I want to say 6 to 8 times at least.
Jesus. How long were you in that place?
We was there for a few months, and then we
couldn't handle.
we had to move because it was like kind of like a transition. We was waiting for another apartment to get fixed, and then we just took that apartment to get out to our friend's house. You know what I'm saying? And we was there for a few months, and that was like, and after we left there, I never had those spells where I felt like I was gonna pass out. I never felt like I had those, you know, like being pinned down. They can't wake up and can't, like literally, like my kid's mom is right there, and I'm laying down, I'm like. Like
in real life,
in real life,
no, that's a real thing.
Like sleep paralysis type thing.
No, some people say that, but there's like an actual thing. No, because that happened to my mother before, and it was real deal shit. Like sleep paralysis, but there's another word for it.
Yeah, like when it's like another entity involved into it.
That happened when that happened the day I came home from the hospital, but that's another story.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, and that motherfucking place was haunted. That shit was real.
Oh, that's real.
Listen, I know. I've proven to myself that there are places that are haunted, but somehow because I did it one time, I did a seance and I cleared some shit. I did some
never do seance.
Yeah, see, but what, I'm not talking about some evil, foul, satanic stuff.
No, you just open
up.
I'm
gonna lose my Muslim card hardcore today. Let me shut up.
You already lost it, bro. You just
lost it. It's done.
Yeah,
it's ripped up.
He just yeah, man.
I mean, me and Sean did go on an overnight ghost hunt.
Don't bring me down with you.
I didn't get touched by a ghost, but when the lights went out, I sure felt a hand. It felt like Sean's.
Nah, it was that little British boy. Hello, get out, man.
You talking about that, Brother Cash?
Yeah, little.
Show, that was before you was on the show, right? Where I went and did the overnight at
I seen you because I followed you. I was there, yeah.
Hello. What are you doing in my mill?
I was like, yo, he's from Kentucky. Why is he talking like that?
Why is he talking like that? I said, bro, they were all from Britain at the time.
No, they wasn't. No, they were not all from Britain at the time.
That's awesome.
Well, you know, like, I don't know what to say, so I'm just like.
This is what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say to people out there that are watching. All 7 people, I always make this joke, that are watching the YouTube stream. What I would like.
We're down to 2 now, but at the highest point, we was about.
That's
10.
never accurate though, because
probably not, because it was like 7, and it went down to 5.
We have 5 good people
in the comments to the episode, because for some reason our episodes never get many comments. I mean it all.
No, we actually got some chat talk here. Yeah,
we did. Oh, we did chat talk right now.
Yeah, see, you're assuming.
I didn't know. Ask of you and me.
No, you.
Viewers out there.
So the one YouTube guy in Wisconsin.
Wade Ortiz is watching the show. She's from.
She chatting.
Yeah, she was from Beth's former co-host at the.
Yeah, before Beth went rogue.
She came to the dark side.
She came to the dark side. Don't be fawning over anything. Let's not. So let's.
Isn't the fawn like a baby deer?
Fawn? It is. I think it is. You gotta be really white to use that in a sentence.
Hey.
Super. No, you're not that. We had to teach you how to be white. You shut up.
Yeah, we had to teach Sean how to be white.
We got to teach Sean how to be white. We got to give Sean white lessons sometimes.
There we go.
What's the point of having a white guy if you acting like us? You're supposed to be getting us into places we can't go. You act more like a nigga than us. What are we gonna do with you? But
yes, it's up like. I am furious right now.
I was gonna say something.
You gotta say it with a straight face.
Oh, people in the chat and people watching. Here's what I want to take a poll.
I am furious right now.
I'd like to take some commentary, if not now, for people who are watching.
Whoa, man! Whoa, you gotta have your own conversation, no matter what we're doing. Jesus,
just talking about. You just talked about the chat.
Were we done though? I don't know if we were done yet though.
I was gonna add to the chat.
What's the chat?
I want people in the chat and people watch the episode to comment. Do you think we should stick to strictly music subjects, or do you like that we go to subjects that have nothing to do with music?
That's if they're still watching it, they obviously don't give a fuck.
I think it's because we're funny. You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking legacy, and I was thinking that hopefully, YouTube, I think, is a permanent fixture in our culture. I think it's going to be around another 20, 30 years. It's not going anywhere.
Until they find out we beat up old ladies, then we got to take all
Jesus.
that stuff out.
I think that it's interesting that many years from now, when we pass away, that people can go back and watch these episodes and
the crazy part about it, actually the cool part about it is like, all right, say you have like a great grandkid, maybe they never met you, so they can go on YouTube and watch our videos and actually learn about our personality. You know what I'm saying?
That reminds me, I gotta talk to you about something important after the show.
Well, you could have waited till after the show.
No, because if I didn't, I'm saying it for myself. I'm gonna say it. No, because if I don't say it to myself,
hey guys, she's gonna talk to me after the show.
I'm gonna talk to him after the show. Do you think that? Let me ask you this question. If you think that you didn't know us and you watched the show as your great grandkid, what do you think that they would take away from watching?
I don't know.
But like, we can't tell if these dudes hate each other or love each other.
That's probably one thing, but
they're 2 old guys from the Muppets.
Like it's all about the time. Like, imagine like we're in a time where like super sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like in like 15, 20 years from now, and it's way more sensitive than it is right now.
Well, they'll be shutting our shit off. They'll be listening to it like this on the low.
Or they'll be like, yo, these guys get away with all types of shit. These guys are out of control. They were rebels.
It'll be like,
see? Past and present, it'd be like the Twilight Zone series.
I think we'll come. I mean, if we came to a part, I mean, you got to think about this, right? You're saying in the future, right? You're saying in the future, right? But there's places like China and places like that where they don't even have some of the access. It's all pirate stuff, and they don't even have the access to them, and the stuff is edited out. One thing about America has a lot of fucked up shit about this, but we do have certain freedoms of
it's selective. It's selective.
As long as you don't go against too many things, but we get away with
selective because like my whole point of earlier when I was talking about when you guys were saying you can go back and you can find these shows with Michael Jackson and you can go on YouTube and watch them. Mm-hmm. Think about what they did to Tupac. They had that. They have plenty of videos on YouTube where Tupac actual voice was talking about how Quincy Jones tried to have sex with him. You know what I'm saying? And it was Tupac's voice saying this on YouTube. Can't find it. Cannot find it. And Quincy Jones is not like you wouldn't look at him like he's obviously been around for a long time, very powerful in music, but to the average person, he don't seem like that guy. You know what I'm saying? That would be able to maneuver around and do whatever the fuck you want to and have stuff like that taken off YouTube. But that shit is gone. You can't find that shit nowhere. And I heard it myself with the actual voice. So for them to take shit off of YouTube,
no, they take it down. Yeah.
For whatever reason, and you'll be
they'll
never.
They'll take it off Facebook.
I think they took a lot of stuff.
This girl put this girl that I don't even know how I started following her, but she made a comment to something on some political thing, and I started following her. She makes all this like political commentary. She just has a regular page, and she makes all this political commentary. She put up this like crazy post about Shirley Temple. And I learned so much by reading this post and looking at the stuff that she put, and it had like over 1 million views. And the stuff was like, it wasn't an opinion.
Like an ambassador somewhere in some country.
Yeah, but it was like, but the stuff that was on it. Yeah. I don't even want to go into it because it's gonna open up a doorway right now. But I'm just saying it was so profound and so disturbing and so like in your face that you'd like. Some of it was like opinion, but some of it was factual stuff, like about stuff that used to happen back in the black and white days and stuff like that predates a lot of this pedophilia stuff like that, but like stuff that was like in the movies and like all this like subconscious stuff, and it showed all this like footage, and it showed me movies that I grew up watching, but it looked through that lens and watching it, and I was like, wow, like her singing these love songs to these mostly grown men and kissing on the lips and all this other stuff. But what I'm saying is like it got taken down.
Yeah, it's gone.
It got taken down. But I see posts of girls with their butts hanging out and stuff like that, and it doesn't. And people put fights, and it doesn't.
Selective fucking censoring. You know what I'm saying?
Goes back to what we were saying earlier.
The numbing, right?
If you do your research, since we're dealing with music, we'll stick in music. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of music labels, right? Like independent ones and this and that, but majority of the labels, especially like we say like Bad Boy and the rap ones, the Bad Boys and the Rockefellers and the this and that.
No, there's only like really four.
There's really only four labels. They're all subdivisions of it, and I know it's true because I went to you might be familiar with the show, but 106 in Park is a very famous show amongst people of color in hip hop that used to come on every Friday, and it would play videos back when videos were important. And my sister got us tickets there one time, and we went. And I remember going there, and the building is 106 in Park, like it's 106 in Park, which is like what they consider like Spanish Harlem, like Spanish Harlem. So right over there in 106 in Park in Spanish Harlem, it's a show that's on BET, right, black-owned entertainment television. But to get to the studio for 106 in Park, you had to walk through this like CBS owned building and had all these like pictures of all these old white dudes, and then there was like this one room in the back that had this like black show that was supposed to be black, owned and black this and that, but like there's all these like white dudes. You literally to anybody who's ever been to the taping of 106 in Park knows that there's no way to go into the show without walking past these pictures of all these like great white men and all that. You get what I'm trying to say? Like it's supposed to be black owned television and all this other stuff. But if you trace it back, like all the labels, even the major rap labels, the No Limits, the Rockefellers, the Bad Boy, they're all Maybach Music. They're all subdivisions of a company that's a subdivision of one of like 4 or 5 companies. Right. Like, and the same thing with media. There's a post that I had put up, and I'll share it with you. I'll send it to you. There's a media thing that has all these different TV stations telling the story all around the country. And they're all pretty much saying the same thing. I was talking about. Remember I told you about before when my sister got the tickets to 106 in Park, and it was in all the Spanish Harlem. See, remembers in all the white pictures, and it's like this is black-owned television.
It's not black-owned.
Really a farce. Like it's not
black-owned. They are Viacom owns Viacom owns BET. Real. VH1.
So therefore, if that is true, right, then that means that those companies
control what we see.
They control what we see, and then that means there's a tunnel. There's a certain frequency of information that we receive. A lot of people, when I really got into entertainment, and I started had a couple of record deals on the table that I didn't deal with because it wasn't to my liking when I was younger and stuff like that. Not major deals, just sub deals under sub labels and stuff. I started looking into when I first created Universal Disciples over 10 years ago in its first incarnation, I started getting into that. I started dealing with people that really worked at these stations and stuff like that kind of went rogue. They don't fuck with it no more. They were doing their own thing. And there was this dude that wanted to start this record label called Harlem. because Harlem is like a place over there in like where the Dutch are and all of that, Sweden and one of them places, that real Harlem, and all the names are. I mean, so he wanted to start this clothing line dealing with. He was like, "Yo, do you realize?" And he proved it to me. He said, "Do you realize that like TV stations don't sit there and go especially major networks so much. Local news is somewhat to a degree, but I'm saying like the major networks, they don't sit there and say, there's not a person going, we're going to do this story, we're not going to do this story, we're not going to do this story. They actually buy the stories, already the information in blocks, like this block of stories, this block of stories, and he proved it to me, showed it to me, like this block of story. I can't really go into how he proved it to me because there's certain people I can't put on blast, but blocks of stories. So if you think about that, like that controls the way that you think. Our country historically has perpetuated its political agenda by doing that. Nowadays, if they want you to go against somebody, they say it's a sex scandal. If they want you to go against them 10 years ago, they say that they're a Muslim somehow. And if they wanted to do it back in the days during McCarthyism, it's the Red Scare. They say, oh, that person's a communist. Right. And then it justifies what they...
Oh, you're a witch.
Back in the days, it was the witch. Yeah, the witch. So these classifications and they fearmonger. Anybody who's ever put on the news knows that the news will scare the shit out of you. You put on the news for like 20 minutes, you're like, I can't take my kid to the daycare. They can't eat Halloween candy. They can't go to the supermarket. Like, it makes you feel like you can't do anything. And then you look to another person. Like, we wouldn't have even accepted, the Patriot Act would never even been passed if it wasn't for 9/11. If 9/11 did not happen, there were so many people that have resisted the Patriot Act.
That's why it did happen.
That's why, to this day, I've always supported the librarians of our country because they resisted the government wanting to red flag people reading certain books and materials and stuff like that to make us safer. None of that shit has made us any safer. I don't believe it does.
No, it just locks us down more. And then,
I don't believe it makes us any safer.
Puts us under that. But that is the excuse for all the surveillance. That's an excuse for more checkpoints at the airports, and all other shit that they use to further lock us down more and to keep us under a little bit more control and under the watchful eye. They just always go back and say, it's just to stop, terrorism and shit like that. If me and Cash created a political organization that really started making moves and really started educating people and really started doing stuff, and then if they were to like kill us, we would be martyrs, right? But if they said Nabi is a radical Muslim and Cash they don't gotta do that no more. That's the new shit.
Touches underage women. No matter whether it was true or not, whether we beat the charges, no matter what, that will haunt us and follow us for the rest of our lives. Right. And that connects to what I said before about what is the difference between Marcus Mosiah Garvey, right, the founder of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, also the person who's credited with basically starting the spark that is Rastafarianism, right? Marcus Mosiah Garvey is by real hardcore revolutionaries is held the same as Malcolm, but to the world, it's the regular world that reads the stories, even people that are not like radicals that like Malcolm X and what he stood for, they don't look at Malcolm and they don't look at Mosiah Garvey as on the same plane. Just why is that? Because Marcus Mosiah Garvey was not murdered. He died penniless, and he died. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And not dying and stuff like that, and he was embarrassed. Like what they did is the government fucked him over, and that's a whole other story.
Oh yeah, this is called. They got this new shit called the BIE, Black Identity Extremists.
What's that?
And that's like a FBI surveillance type thing. So this dude right here, he was locked up. Like he was like just doing stuff like teaching black people how to use guns and you know what I'm saying, just like being almost like not really like a nationalist. I think he's from New York, I want to say.
Really familiar.
And
an extremist.
Almost like an extremist, but not really. He wasn't even really doing that. He wasn't like trying to overthrow anything or trying to he was just like teaching black people in the community just different things like black survival skills, financial skills, you know what I'm saying? And he had a group of people that was with him, and they locked him up under this new this new law. It was called BIE, Black Identity Extremists.
They've had
and they locked him up for months. They've
had open cases on people, and it's been proven after years.
This is that Rakeem Balagan thought he was dreaming when armed agents in a tactical gear stormed his apartment. Startled awake by a large crash and officers screaming commands, he soon realized his nightmare was real. He and his 15-year-old son were forced outside of the Dallas home wearing only underwear, handcuffed and shaking in the cold. Balogun thought it was a misunderstanding, must have led the FBI to his door. The father of three was shocked to learn that the agents investigating domestic terrorism and had been monitoring him for years and were arresting him that day in part because of a Facebook post criticizing police. And that's just a short part of it. You know what I'm saying? If you look it up, and they use this new thing called black identity extremists. And that's basically like it's almost like
somebody who incites people.
Yeah, they can come take you out of your house. It
makes it so like just like with the so-called terrorists, they don't have to follow protocol. Like there's certain laws in place. There are certain laws that are in place for an American citizen, regardless of what they've done. Whether you blew up a bomb and killed 100 people, whatever. There's certain laws that govern how you deal with a person.
It said Balogun, who lost his home and more while incarcerated, is believed to be the first person targeted and prosecuted under a secretive U.S. surveillance effort to track so-called black identity extremists. In a leaked August 2017 report from the FBI's Domestic Terrorism Analyst Unit, officials claimed that there had been a resurgence in ideology-motivated violent criminal activity stemming from African Americans' perceptions of police brutality, police brutality. So that they're just using that as an excuse to be able to lock up anybody that's like teaching, people in their community what they don't want them to learn, basically. You know what I'm saying? So now you're a black identity extremist, and we can come lock you up and take all your shit. And all his guns was legal. Everything he had, he didn't do no crime. So that's one of the things. And our time is up here in the Chop Shop. I hope you guys learned something. If we said something wrong, hit us up at the Chop Shop Radio at gmail.com, at chopshopradio@gmail.com, and say you guys fucked that up. You fact check us.
Fact check us, yeah. We've only had one wrong fact on here so far.
Nah, I doubt that. I mean, we got one wrong fact that we found that was wrong. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we said some shit that was not true sometimes.
Shout out to my research team, my 13-year-old daughter.
And and like I said, if you guys have been watching the show, if you're a fan of the show, and we said some shit that was factually wrong, we would love for you to correct us because we don't want to be out here spreading false information. We like to.
Can I end it with a not-be fact?
No, you talked enough. And
but it's related to what you just said.
No, the show's over, bro. And
fuck you.
Thank you guys for watching. You know what I'm saying? And
shout out to our sponsors, the Woo Worldwide DJ Coalition, Tech 9 Snowboards, the Mobile Stew, 13 Folds Magazine, Woo Rolling Papers. We love you guys. Thank you for everybody that tunes in. And listen, if it just takes a second to share and subscribe, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Word up.
Word.